You know, I always say getting healthy is all about intake and elimination. Get it in, get it out. In America, we have a huge problem with getting it out. From the very beginning of my clinic, I made this intestinal formula #1. It works the muscles of your bowel and will make you have a bowel movement the next day. You know, in the 1970s, 15% of American adults had bowel disease. In the 1980s, it was 20 or 30, then 40. In the latest Merck manual, it says 100% of Americans, before they die, if they live long enough, will have bowel disease. Diverticulosis, diverticulitis, bowel herniations, polyps that lead to cancer. This is how bad it is, and all that's caused by this retained fecal matter that's sitting there too long. And the job of this is just to go in and get it out. Number 2 is, we have Formula 1. Number 2 is once your bowel's working good, you put this in there and it's a vacuum. It has bentonite clay in it, which will absorb 40 times its weight out of your bowel. It has fruit pectin, which is osmotic. It'll remove strontium-90 and lead and mercury and heavy metals, which is radioactive materials. This really will draw, I mean, if you put it on your skin and make a face mask, it'll feel like it's going to suck your brains out through your forehead. It's powerful stuff. I had a patient that took this, and when they were a baby, their mother said they swallowed coins, and coins came out with the dates from when they were a kid. How about that? So if you're a coin collector, this could be a real gem. I had a woman that went through the windshield of a car and had abdominal surgery in a bad traffic accident, and years later, doing my bowel detox, glass came out, windshield glass. So we store stuff in there. It's not as pretty of a picture as a lot of people think. It comes in capsules. Together, those 2 formulas are the 5-day bowel detox. It's the first detox I suggest for everybody. You know, so many groups do all types of detox routines, and they make a mistake by not addressing the colon first. I see people get into advanced yoga classes that have 1 bowel movement a week. Well, I'm sorry, but up dog, down dog is going to feel like a bad dog if you have your bowel full of 10, 15 pounds of fecal matter. And so I have helped yoga schools and religious organizations that were putting their sickly disciples in sweat lodges when they were filled with poop. How's that going to feel? And so the first step, you know, when you start to do any type of cleansing, I can't sit down. When you start doing any type of cleansing and you start to get poisons out of your fat, out of your muscles, out of your tissues, almost all of it, if it doesn't excrete with your urine, goes in your bowel. And if your bowel isn't working like clockwork, it's going to sit in there and re-poison you. And then that's why people go, gosh, I started a fast, but I felt horrible. I started getting healthy and I felt horrible. I found that my patients, if they did a good bowel cleanse and they're having a few bowel movements a day, then no matter what they took on, they felt great. So bowel detox first, then liver, then kidney, then health programs. The first step on a health program. If you need a little more help, we have the intestinal formula #1, maximum strength. Okay. Careful with that. You can learn the laws of jet propulsion. We have formula #3, which is for kids. It's great tasting, and it's also for adults. One of Venetia's favorite formulas. We have the bowel flush shot. This is when you want to call Father Schulze. And you have gone out and you have partied hardy. And you ate the donuts in the morning that started with the trans fatty acids and free radical breakfast. Then you went to have a Happy Meal. And then it just got worse. And at the end of the day, I'm the only one in here who's perfect, who's never done that. But I know the rest of you are sinners. And it's bad enough lying in bed, guilt-ridden, feeling like shit. But this baby, you put it in, and you can start the next day with all of that stuff out of you, and you learn not to do it again. That's what the bowel flush shot is. But I have a lot of bowel formulas, and the reason is because in my clinic, that was the predominant problem I was dealing with. Oh yeah, they came in with a back pain when they went to a chiropractor that couldn't get rid of. They had done acupuncture. They were ready to have spinal surgery, and I got them to have a great bowel movement, and all of a sudden 3-4 years of pain they couldn't figure out and no doctor could help them with was gone. Because the biggest organ in the body is the colon. When it's swollen and filled with poop, it's pressing on everything. And I don't care if it's menstrual problems, menstrual irregularity, heart trouble. All your organs get affected by a nasty, swollen, constipated bowel. And so the first step in my clinic was get that bowel flushed out. Okay, Greg, what's next? Herbal Mucil. Because the other product that has the name Mucil in it is also 30 to 40% sugar. And I had so many patients doing that, I'm like, I'm done with that. Can we just leave the sugar out, friends? I mean, come on. What does this taste like? Horrible? No. It just tastes bland. Okay? It doesn't taste like it has 14 teaspoons of sugar in it. And that's something we have to learn ourselves to do. Put in a little fruit juice. Now you have a little natural sugar, friends. We don't have to eat sugar. This makes the jelly snake. This is what it's called now. Jelly snake formula. If you don't know what that means, get some Herbal Mucil. Check it out. A couple teaspoons in your superfood drink, and the next morning it's going to be like anaconda. I got to tell you one story. I had a guy come in my clinic with, he was clinically depressed, severe depression, so bad that he could not get his hand out of his forehead. And they couldn't even pull it away. And he only had one word, no. You find a lot of people that are depressed say no. No's not a winner word. You want a yes. John Lennon was right. Yes is the answer. So anyway, he wouldn't talk. His relatives brought him in. And I knew I had to get him starting the program. So I put him on brain tonic, and I put him on intestinal formula #1 and superfood. It was kind of superfood and intestinal formula #1. Every patient got that who came in my clinic on their first visit. They called up, they canceled their next visit, but they ordered like 4 more bottles of intestinal formula #1. They called and canceled the next visit. They ordered a 12-pack of intestinal formula #1. And Anisha told me, because she was the pharmacist in my clinic back in those days. And then one day I got a call from his psychiatrist, and he said, "What in the hell are you doing to my patient?" And I said, "What?" And he goes, "He came up to see me, and he spent a half hour in the toilet. And when he got out, it smelled so bad, no one could work on the floor of my building." And he goes, "The smell went down the elevator shaft, and people on the floor below me were complaining." He goes, "This guy's turning inside out." And when I got him sat down to see him, because they had him on lithium and all these horrible drugs, he goes, "When I sat him down to talk to him, he had to go back to the bathroom." All they did was fill him full of IF #1. In 3 months, he was back teaching school. He was a school teacher. He didn't take the brain tonic. He didn't take the superfood. All he did was clean out his bowel. And this guy, imagine the impaction. I had a man in Hawaii. I'm back on formula #1. The stories always end up back there. But I had a man in Hawaii who broke the record with 56 capsules, I believe, of IF #1. And he lost over 50 pounds overnight on the toilet. Woo! Now those Hawaiians can get pretty big. I mean, imagine that. And I've had all the stories. Plenty of people that went once a month. Other people that went once every other month. I had Teresa from Santa Rosa, California, who went once a trimester during her pregnancy. So 3 bowel movements during 9-month pregnancy. That's 1 every 3 months. We had one person that went twice a year. If you're interested in some real shit stories,